to work through mind to help somebody. You don't have to work through their brain. You can work through their whole being.
What acupuncture does for us is allow us to work with somebody not only in a verbal level, but in a non-verbal level. That is tremendous power.
When I just lay right here and I just meditate, I can feel like the tension just leaving, everything just leaving.
People laugh at me, but for me, doing this is a high, no matter which end of the pins I'm on, whether I'm giving or receiving treatment. It's magic in the best sense of that word.
First, we were using methadone to help patients detox, and then after several years, we implemented the acupuncture. And so when we implemented the acupuncture, I thought it was quite strange to use needles on people's ears for addiction. And from what I noticed, our clients really liked the acupuncture. It really helped them to alleviate a lot of the discomforts that they were going through, especially when they were detoxing from methadone. They were down to like 5 milligrams. And so they had all these fears and anxieties about letting go. And when they tried the acupuncture, it really helped to calm those fears and help to relax them. And so they kept on coming back every day, receiving the acupuncture until they were totally drug-free.
When we started using the acupuncture, it was 1974, and we is the appropriate term because there are a number of people here who are starting the process. I think none of us were clear how well it would work, and we viewed acupuncture as a sort of metallic version of methadone, that it was something that would make people feel better temporarily. And the idea being if you made people feel better temporarily, then perhaps that would push them over the edge into general behavioral change. That's not a very good theory, but it was certainly a common one at the time. And it took us a while to realize that acupuncture had its own reality, its own nature. The whole concept of how change comes about and so on, I think the acupuncture gradually educated us and educates other people.
How many times you were working with somebody, or not even working sometimes, you're just with a friend, and that person can either bring you down or bring you up, and you leave that interaction with a certain baggage. It can be a positive baggage, it can be a negative baggage. As persons involved in transformation of individuals, you need to learn how to deal with that baggage so that you don't just deliver to the next person. You know what I mean? And you know about that. You have debriefing groups, you have venting opportunities, you have supervision, but now there's another technique that accesses you in spite of ourselves. That's really what acupuncture does. It reaches us in spite of ourselves because it is nonverbal. It's not a technique that says you are going to be in control because you say yes or no. It's a technique that says you're going to be in control because your body is balanced. Acupuncture can be done in a variety of settings. It can be done in a harm reduction context, in a recovery context, in a detoxification place. It can be done in settings that when folks are living with AIDS, HIV positive, when folks are dealing with mental illness, when folks are dealing with trauma, when folks are dealing with a variety of complexity of issues that are threatening to their lives at the same time. For instance, has been very successfully done in prisons, in shelters, where actually we don't even have a complete diagnosis of what is going on with an individual. The technique itself is very simple, it produces immediate results, and the treatment takes about half an hour, 45 minutes. It's a person-centered treatment. It's going to look to produce balance where balance doesn't exist. It's going to look to build strength where lives are very fragile.
The 5 points that we train here are not only for detoxification, but also for relapse prevention and for stress management. One of the points that people learn is the sympathetic point. That particular point, you're placing your acupuncture needle parallel to this ridge that goes directly into the ear. That particular point, sympathetic, helps with stress, it helps with tension, and it also helps in the digestion area. Addicts, when they first come in for treatment, they feel a lot of fear and hostility. This particular point helps to calm that down. The second point that we do is called the Shen Men, and it's located with a triangle faucet, and it's located right at the corner here. Between, you have the dark pigmentation of the skin here and the light one here, and it's located right in the halfway around the rim, right in the center of the corner. It is called the Shen Men. That Shen Men point is related to, in Chinese terms, the spirit, the gate, and it helps to calm emotions. So if people are coming in feeling tense and uptight, the first 2 points that we give is the sympathetic point to help to relax them, and the Shen Men to help calm them down. The third point that we do is called the kidney point, and it's right underneath the Shen Men. The fourth point is the liver point, and the fifth point is the lung. The kidney, the liver, and the lung serves as a cleansing. In other words, people who use drugs, those toxics go into these major organs. And so these points helps to activate those organs to help take out those toxics from those major organs.
Acupuncture works for somebody that is using drugs, somebody that is using drugs all the time, intermittently, on and off, somebody that is in recovery, somebody that has been in recovery for a very long time, somebody that's stressed out, somebody that is having what we would call anxiety, that is having non-tangible feelings of uneasiness. It works for people in whatever stage because it's a person-centered treatment. I think that it also works because it is a drug-free method, and it begins to send a message that the change is happening from the inside out, not from the outside in. And that is very new for a person in recovery, for a person detoxing, for a person that is using. And it starts to give them credit for the change. Today I get to do one of the biggest reasons why I came to work at Samaritan Village, and that is so that we can incorporate acupuncture in the treatment of chemical dependency, in the case detox, relapse prevention, and recovery. I believe that acupuncture in a therapeutic community setting is very beneficial because it's very complementary. It does not confront. It is something that will work and does work with those who have a very hard time having a lot of verbal behavior. Verbal readiness is not required. It also helps with people who are very stuck in their own process, stuck in feelings. It helps with fear. Acupuncture deals a lot with enabling persons to confront the fear in a very gentle way by feeling stronger, not by being afraid of feeling the fear, but simply by experiencing themselves as stronger people.
I think it's important to look at the process of recovery as a mixture of different things. Part of the mixture is social peer support. Part of the mixture is advice or learning or education, having a role model. And part of the mixture is our own internal process, our own privacy and our own silence. In the Serenity Prayer that's used in 12-step programs, you talk about people. One side of the Serenity Prayer says, if I can't change something, let me accept it. The other side says, if I can change something, let me try. And then the little extra part says, and let me have the wisdom to know the difference. Let me have the evidence to know the difference. And much of drug treatment, much of healthcare and recovery and behavioral change in general hinges exactly on this issue. Do I have the wisdom? Do I have the evidence to think that it is possible I can get better? Can I change something? Am I broken? Or is it possible that something good can come out of me? Well, acupuncture is a very good way of working this out. Otherwise, we have to have people gradually learn that they're not broken, and this takes a period of time. With acupuncture, you work this problem out. I come in all fussed up, tight, frightened. Treatment occurs. I feel relaxed. I feel calm. I feel settled down. Wow, something happened. And then a lot of clients will say, well, what was there? And there was something in the needle. Must be something in the needle that worked. And this is a drug addict's question. I mean, the change, I'm not good enough to make that change. I'm not good enough to go from nervous to calm. There must be something in the needle. Something was done to me to do this. That's why I buy drugs. That's why I buy aspirin. Something is done to me. And if someone says, for instance, that you have a cold, you have a flu, no one ever seems to talk about the fact that their own immune system gets rid of this viral problem. Oh no, I need something done to me. Well, that's false. The main problem, it just went away. No, it didn't just go away. You have an immune system that made it go away. But we're very attached to the consumer's concept, right? That there's nothing good in here, so I have to buy all this stuff out here. And so there must be something in the needle. There must be something good in the needle. Well, the person comes back 2 days later. I don't deserve to relax today. I did so many bad things. I did so much problem. Needles don't care. The person settles down anyway. And now I realize there's not only something good inside me, something with potential for relaxation, for real value, but what is inside me is totally forgiving. Even though there's a sin, or a layer of sin up on my head somewhere, what is inside me forgives me. Every time. The person says, wow, just within me in 10 minutes of this treatment, I can see that I can be thoughtful, I can relax, I can have quiet space, I can forgive myself, I can be quiet and calm even though I was a bad person 2 hours before. Wow, all these things are there. I should try to grow up, right? I may be better than I thought I was. I should try to grow up and get a job and make friends and talk to people.
My job is to teach them the 5-point location, and to not only teach them, but also to work with them with their fears. They have a lot of fears about inserting needles into people they've never met before. So we sort of like do a little exercise in the training room. They're asked to place it into plastic ears. So they learn the points. Once they learn the points, but they're using the plastic ear as a model. And then after they learn that, what I do is I give them some acupuncture points so they can take home needles, so they can take home and they can practice at home on a potato or on a orange or anything that they can insert it in. And then after that, we have them pair up, so they work as partners. And then when they're working as partners, they're able to insert the needles in their partner. And after they finish doing that, they look at their point location to see if their points are correct. And if they're not, and then they're taught, After a couple of days, they're able to come downstairs here to the clinic, and they start doing patients.
Once he sticks me and I lay back, I feel real relaxed. Like right now, all this pain, it seems like the evil just comes right out of me or something. It makes me feel good, like I'm baptized. It makes me feel real good.
In a harm reduction context, acupuncture is also very conducive to help building the group, building the relationship that those settings are looking to do. It begins to break the isolation of the drug user. It begins to provide that context in which bonding takes place. It actually is a very good vehicle for furthering the social dimension that is so essential for support, for mirroring, for understanding of what the process of change is. So that because it happens in a group context and because it allows communication, actually fosters communication between the individuals, it is very, very helpful in a harm reduction or in a drug using setting.
We started this program in June of 1993, and the two of us who were doing it, Vicki and I, spent a lot of time feeling like the Maytag repair person. I mean, we were very lonely. But since we realized this was a very new program to this community, wherever street fairs, block parties, health fairs, wherever anyone was tabling for needle exchange, not doing exchange, but handing out materials on what happened here. Some of us would take a box of needles and a box of alcohol pads, and we'd do what we called al fresco acupuncture. I had 15 people at the Lower Sida Fair in 1993 lined up on a curbstone, all with pins in their ears, which was probably a first, even for Lower Sida. And many of the people that first heard about us there are still coming back. So I think we've got a good thing going here.
Initially, I found out about this through the needle exchange. I started coming here about 2 or 3 months ago, and I was coming a lot before I really started to get it together as far as like the recovery thing goes. I was still using them, but I was coming here regularly, and I was noticing that it was having an effect even so. And now that I've been clean for a couple of weeks, of course the effects are even better. Like I said, when I first started coming, I wasn't clean, I was still using. Mm-hmm. But I found that, coming here and regularly, it was like, I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but it was like, well, just making a regular effort, to think about it. Even though I wasn't like ready, I was, obviously I knew that I had a problem and that I needed to deal with it. I think that the acupuncture has made a really big difference in, just the methadone alone is not enough. I don't really think for anybody. I know it's not for me, because it's only taking care of one aspect. It's not dealing with how you got there.
In addition to the impact that it has to the clients themselves, acupuncture also has an impact in the institutions, in the settings in which it is. It produces balance in those settings. It avoids burnout of staff because being nonverbal, because of being a non-confrontative method. It allows it's a very user-friendly method, so that it allows the staff to also have a non-verbal way of reaching the same clients that they're usually